Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing, Inc.
Potentially crippling strike begins in Trinidad and Tobago. Our top story in Caribbean Newsline. From the CMC News Center in Bridgetown, I'm Nicole Best. Good evening. Well, the strike is over. It was a strike that the Oilfield Workers Trade Union, the OWTU, had warned going on for 90 days. But in the end, stakeholders breathed a sigh of relief when the union called off the planned action after agreeing to accept a 5% salary increase for workers. The union's President General Ansel Roger said the agreement was reached during talks on what was supposed to be one day of, that's the first day of the strike, with officials from the state-owned oil company Petrotrin and Minister of Labour Jennifer Baptiste Primus. The union had originally demanded a 10% wage hike for the 2014-2017 period, which Petrotrin said it could not afford. Earlier in the day, the OWTU had advised workers to go ahead with the plan to down tools from 10 a.m., advising them to be strong and not be fooled into believing that the strike was illegal. But the 5% offer effectively ended the deadlock between the union and Petrotrin and will see both sides going back to the negotiating table in good faith. The Labour Minister said a first settlement is expected to be paid to workers by the end of February.
The parties will meet and discuss how and when the arrears of salary resulting from the increase would be addressed. We are aware, and my team here at the ministry, we are aware that the entire nation has been literally holding its collective breath over this issue. And therefore, we recognize the grave responsibility that lied on all of us, in particular the team at the Ministry of Labour. And therefore, sacrifices would have been made on all sides.
Questioned about where the money to pay the workers would come from, given that Petrotrin had said it could not afford any increase at all, the company's president, Fitzroy Harewood, had this to say.
It will come from our operations. The expectation is that certainly we are, at this time, certainly confronting a much smaller payment than was originally expected. And we have agreed that we will defer payment of retroactive quantities related to this increase. So all we're really dealing with is the substantive increase that comes with the award that was given, the interim award. The retroactive payments, we've agreed that we'll sit with the recognized majority union and go through a process by which we will define productivity and production triggers, if you will, that will determine when the retroactive amounts will be paid. That is unique, if you will, and it is one of the maybe good things emerging from this entire process.
In Bermuda, the Minister of Home Affairs has sought to set the record straight about her refusal to renew a foreign pastor's work permit, which had prompted strike action led by the Bermuda Industrial Union last week. Patricia Gordon-Pamplin says it appeared the entire application process relating to Reverend Nicholas Tweed's work permit was entangled with misinformation, and she denies suggestions that her decision was personal. Reverend Tweed's supporters argue the minister should have recused herself from decision-making on Tweed's matter since she had admitted leaving his church. But Gordon-Pamplin insists that her decision was based strictly on the information that had been provided in the application. And she says other religious denominations adhere to country's work permit policies, and the St. Paul African Episcopal Methodist Church, where Reverend Tweed is a pastor, has to do the same.
It is not fair to other religions in Bermuda to be required to follow the rules and one church be allowed to ignore the work permit policies.
Bombarded by questions from the media on whether the minister's decision-making was lacking impartiality, she reiterated that there is no remedy for a minister to recuse themselves from a specific matter and that her personal faith is separate from professional life.
As a Christian woman, I go to where I feel comfortable that part of my development is being satisfied. I used to go to the Roman Catholic Church. I don't anymore. I used to go to Church of Christ in Brighton Hill. I don't anymore. I used to go to Wesleyan Methodist Church, which is my family church. I don't anymore. And I've been to any number of churches around the place because that's my level of spirituality. It's not about me. It really isn't. But because I went to each of those individual institutions and no longer attend, I don't see that I could be conflicted should I have a query relating to any one of those religions or religious organizations.
And as it stands, Reverend Nicholas Tweed is required to depart the island by January 19th.
And that report was from Jasmine Patterson of Bermuda Broadcasting News. It was a bloody weekend in St. Lucia. At least 6 people were killed in several incidents, and as a result, Prime Minister Alan Chastanet on Monday summoned police and officials from the Ministry of Social and Family Development to a meeting. He says he was brought to tears over the number of murders that took place during the period. On Sunday night, police detained one woman in connection with the fatal stabbing of a man. The incident took place just hours after 2 men were shot dead in the West Coast community of Jacmel. A third man subsequently succumbed to his injuries he sustained in that shooting. In another incident, police fatally shot a man in Marigot, and a man who was shot multiple times over the New Year's holiday succumbed to his injuries early on Sunday. Last Friday, the island recorded its first murder of 2017 when a 21-year-old resident of Gros-Islet was found dead at his residence with gunshot wounds. Jamaica has brushed aside the idea that the island's next top cop should be a foreigner. National Security Minister Robert Montague says he is not convinced that the person who will replace Police Commissioner Dr. Carl Williams, who stepped down last week, should come from overseas. And Montague says while he understands the arguments in favor of giving the job to someone from outside, it does not necessarily follow that this would be in the best interest of the country. He said, and I quote, "I believe in Jamaica. I also believe the requisite skills and competencies are here to the point where we could be sending persons to make up similar positions in countries across the globe." End of quote. Deputy Commissioner Novelit Grant is acting in the top post for the next 3 months. The international health community should work to solve the problem of rich countries taking away critical healthcare workers from developing countries. That's the view of one of the candidates vying to become the next Director General of the World Health Organization, Professor Philippe Douste-Blazy. He says he shares Jamaica's concern on the matter. That island's health minister, Dr. Christopher Tufton, says he intends to raise the matter of foreign countries taking away Jamaica's specialist nurses when he attends the WHO board meeting in Switzerland this month. Douste says a mechanism for human resources in public health needs to be created that would be beneficial to both developed and developing states.
One possibility is probably to ask also nurses in developed countries to come to developing countries. Because it is very difficult to say to a nurse here, to say you are going to earn less money, I forbid that you are going to go overseas. It is one thing, but we can ask our nurses to come to developing countries also, and to middle-income countries and low-income countries.
Coming up in Caribbean Newsline, a Suriname-based airline suspends scheduled flights to Guyana and Barbados. The details when we return. Stay with us.
Welcome to my island. Welcome to my Caribbean island. Welcome to my island.
Maybe in my next life, I'll become a golfer.
Round Hay Pharmacy now has 2 locations to fill your prescriptions promptly and efficiently. Our branch at One Accord Plaza is open daily, including Sundays and bank holidays. Also, check out our new drive-through location at Warren's Healthcare Complex in Michael, the first and only drive-through pharmacy in Barbados. For more information, call Round Hay One Accord Plaza at 421-7863 and our new drive-through branch at Warren's in Michael at 424-5574.
6 months after it launched scheduled flights between Suriname and Guyana and Barbados, Suriname's registered carrier Fly Always is suspending its services and returning to chartered flights. The move goes into effect on January 15, but the airline's CEO, Captain Amichand Jawar, insists the company is not shutting down, only suspending its scheduled services to reposition its operations and personnel in areas where passengers can be better served. In a statement issued on Monday, Jawar says while the airline has seen significant potential, management had to pause and take a look at the current destinations being served and its operations base to ensure there was total efficiency. Another factor in the suspension was the delayed implementation of the global booking system, which would allow passengers from across the world to access the airline's booking system. Management is also reviewing the possibility of moving the airline's major hub from Suriname to Guyana to put the airline in a position to offer non-scheduled charters and scheduled operations at a lower cost. A 200-room hotel funded by the controversial Citizenship by Investment program was launched in Dominica on Monday. And it came 1 week after Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit accused opposition leader Lennox Linton of lying to an American broadcaster about the program. The Silver Beach Hotel and Spa is part of the Marriott brand, and Skerrit says he's pleased to welcome it to the island.
It's important that we do everything in our power as a nation to have this project started and completed on time, so that the Marriott brand can be used in the marketing of our country the world over. Nature's natural attributes have served us well over the years, but we believe that the incorporation of international brands such as Marriott shall aid greatly in defining and redefining our island as a must-see locale in the Caribbean and the Western world.
Skerrit says the project could not have come at a better time for Dominica, as global events are creating an environment in which small island states have to look within to craft and develop a formula for progress and success.
Great Britain, Canada, the United States of America, and several other countries in Europe and Eastern Asia are in transitional and transformational mode. It will be a while before the focus moves beyond the bounds of grappling with and managing their own social, geopolitical, and economic challenges. Dominica, I am satisfied, is up to the challenge of rowing its own boat ashore. We will continue to form alliances and to enhance relations with friendly nations, but we shall also roll back our shirt sleeves as a nation and get on with the job of building and developing this country of ours.
The Dominican leader promises that 2017 will be a year of acceleration for several other projects and programs articulated by his government in recent years. Authorities in French Guiana are reporting a sharp increase in the number of illegal gold mining sites in the country, and there are calls for something to be done about it. More in this special report from our partners at France Caraïbes Broadcast.
A few days before the meeting on illegal gold mining in French Guiana, the president of FEDOM expresses its concern for the sector. Within a year, the sector has seen a 27% increase in additional clandestine sites. Carole Storero calls for the return of permanent RP operations. The last results of the prefecture and especially of the Amazonia Park show that there is a strong progression of clandestine gold mining, and we feel it on our sites. That robbery took place in December with a stage taking, and we have that Operation RP, as it existed before, is reinstated, and that we have more men on the ground, as was the case before. Actually, the interventions of the militaries are done on an ad hoc basis, whereas before it was permanently. And it's important for us that this system persists permanently, because that is how one can contain the massive influx of these illegal miners.
Mieux les entrées massives de ces clandestins. Il y a des besoins beaucoup plus forts sur le littoral.
There are more needs on the coast and consequently lack of resources, and those who work on the ground inside the country are moved to reinforce the soldiers who are in Cayenne.
Ceux qui sont à Cayenne. Donc actuellement, on a plusieurs sujets importants.
So today we have several important subjects. The multi-annual energy plan, it's a document that foresees the energy needs in 2023, on which we count a lot, because major mining projects are being developed in French Guiana at different stages. And therefore we need to take into account our needs in this multi-annual plan, which is not the case today. All the forecasts that have been made have been outside the sector, which is absolutely damaging for the development of this sector.
We thank our partners at France Caraïbes Broadcast for this week's submission, and we encourage you to join us every Monday for news from the French West Indies. And ahead in Newsline Sport, there's a new Chief Executive Officer at the West Indies Cricket Board. Stay with us. Sport is next.
You mentioned a couple of things in the previous segment. And I think before I tell you what I started on my list was people think that because they've known each other for a long length of time, and the way that society is at the moment, there are lots of common law husbands and wives that live together for a very long time, so they think that, oh, we've ironed it all out. Yes. But, you know, sometimes that's why some men say they're not going to get married, they're not going to give the paper because things change.
Round Hay Pharmacy now has 2 locations to fill your prescriptions promptly and efficiently. Our branch at One Accord Plaza is open daily, including Sundays and bank holidays. Also, check out our new drive-through location at Warren's Healthcare Complex in Michael, the first and only drive-through pharmacy in Barbados. For more information, call Round Hay One Accord Plaza at 421-7863 and our new drive-through branch at Warren's in Michael at 424-5574.
Do you want a real Barbadian experience with peace and tranquility? A home away from home feeling? Come and stay at Best E Villas. We offer 2 amazing locations to choose from, Prospect St. James or Christchurch. Plan a staycation for your anniversary, birthdays, summer or winter breaks, or any special event. Best E Villas is located in close proximity to our lovely beaches. Call us now at 246-425-9751 or visit us at bestevillas.com and make your booking for the best in villas.
We begin our Monday sports package with news of the appointment of a new chief executive officer at the West Indies Cricket Board. He is Englishman Johnny Grave. In a media release on Monday, the board said Grave comes with a wealth of experience from the Professional Cricket Association in the UK, where he was commercial director for 9 years. Grave holds an executive master's in business administration from the Cass Business School in London and is a graduate of the University of Leeds. The WICB said the top priorities for the new CEO would be the management and oversight of its $40 million budget, the creation of new commercial opportunities, helping to drive revenue into the game, and an increased focus on player relations and improved performances on and off the field. In welcoming the new CEO, WICB President Dave Cameron said Grave has a track record of success and he believes it will add exceptional value to the regional board. He said the decision to choose the Englishman was unanimous in the interview process with PricewaterhouseCoopers. Grave will take up duties in February. Top left-handed batsman Darren Bravo has been left out of the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force 14-man squad for this month's regional Super 50, pending the outcome of a meeting with the West Indies Cricket Board pertaining to his disciplinary issues. The 27-year-old was sent home by the WICB ahead of the Tri-Nation Series in Zimbabwe over a controversial tweet and has not played competitively since TNT Cricket Board's Chief Executive Officer Suruj Raghunath said Bravo's participation in the January 24 to February 18 showpiece hinged on the players' meeting. Bravo is one of several key people missing from this year's squad, with all-rounder Dwayne Bravo, Kieron Pollard, Sunil Narayan, Lyndall Simmons and Samuel Bradbury all unavailable. Dwayne Bravo recently underwent surgery for a hamstring injury sustained in the ongoing Australia Big Bash, while Pollard, Narayan and Battery are campaigning in the T20 tournament down under. The Red Force squad, captained by discarded West Indies wicketkeeper Danish Ramden, includes West Indies speedster Shannon Gabriel and out-of-favour seamer Ravi Rampal. The reigning champions will compete in Group A of the Super 50 alongside Leeward Islands Hurricanes, West Indies Under-19s, Windward Islands Volcanoes and the English county side Kent Spitfire. Selectors have named a star-studded Barbados Pride 14-man squad to contest the Super 50. The side boasts 12 current West Indies players, making them one of the pre-tournament favourites. Test captain Jason Holter will lead the squad, which includes Test vice-captain Craig Brathwaite and fellow Test teammates Carlos Brathwaite, Roston Chase, Miguel Cummins, Shane Dowich, Shea Hope, Kimar Roach and Jomel Warrican. Suleiman Ben, Jonathan Carter and Ashley Nurse are all members of the Windies One-Day International side. The only two members of the squad without international experience are left-handed opener Anthony Aline and all-rounder Kevin Stout. Pride were losing finalists in the tournament last year when they went down to Trinidad and Tobago Red Force in the final at Queen's Park Oval in Port of Spain. They opened their campaign against arch-rivals Guyana Jaguars at Kensington Oval on January 24. Still in cricket, young West Indies will tour South Africa later this year as they prepare for their title defence of the International Cricket Council's Under-19 World Cup. The Caribbean side will play 5 50-overs game against South Africa Under-19s and 2 warm-up matches against local opposition in a tour set to run from June 30 to July 27. Roy Lewis, WICB project officer who oversees the Under-19 program, said the series in Durban will be key preparation for next January's showpiece in New Zealand. The Under-19's preparation will begin in earnest later this month when they do battle in the regional side. They will play alongside reigning champions Trinidad and Tobago Red Force, Windward Islands Volcanoes, Leeward Islands Hurricanes and English county side Kent Spitfires. And West Indies women's bid to win the ICC Women's World Cup will begin with a 2-week training camp in England. The West Indies Cricket Board on Monday announced the details of the training, which will lead into the global tournament that starts on June 26. Windies women secured one of the 4 automatic qualification spots for the 8-team tournament on the strength of their performance in the ICC Women's Championship over the last 2 years. The Windies women were runners-up at the last ICC Women's World Cup when they lost the final against Australia women in Mumbai, India, 4 years ago. But last April, they claimed their first global title when they prevailed over the Aussie women to capture the ICC Women's World T20 title at Eden Gardens in Kolkata, India. Haiti is now one step closer to securing a spot in the finals of the CONCACAF Gold Cup after routing TNT Soca Warriors at the Otto Bolden Stadium over the weekend. A double by Jean-Baptiste Andre, and that's Andrew, and one each by Etienne Derrick and Belfort Curvins guided Haiti to a 4-3 extra time victory over Trinidad and Tobago in the third and final match of the Scotiabank CFU 5th place playoff. Shadon Winchester made a valiant attempt to rescue TNT by scoring a hat-trick, but his attempts were in vain, as the win will see the Haitians in a playoff against a still-to-be-determined team from Central America for a 2017 CONCACAF Gold Cup spot. The four group winners from the Scotiabank CFU Men's Caribbean Cup Round 3, Jamaica, French Guiana, Curacao and Martinique, have already qualified for the Gold Cup, which will be played from July 7 to 26, 2017, as well as the Men's Caribbean Cup Finals from June 22 to 25, both in 2017. And a disappointed Tom Saintfiet describes the team's performance as unacceptable. The newly appointed head coach lambasted the defenders for allowing the Haitians to score 4 goals when they had the advantage in the first quarter of the game.
If you concede 4 goals, you can't be satisfied. If I would say that I would be satisfied, then I need new glasses. It's unacceptable, first of all. To concede 4 goals and 3 goals in a row out of the corner. There are several reasons for that, but I guess that you more look to the last 2 goals, where some players shoot the ball straight to the goal from the corner, and another who passes in a small area. Every defender and the goalkeeper and scored on the second post. No, I'm not satisfied. And sure, 2 from the 4 goals and 2 from the 3-quarter goals are unacceptable.
But Saintfiet commended the team for gelling together.
I think the team showed that they played as a team. They showed the public that they wanted to win, that they had a fighting spirit. I think it created a lot of sense that some players went over their limits physically, but in general I can't blame the team.
And that's the sport. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
Welcome to my island. Welcome to my Caribbean island. Welcome to my island.
Maybe in my next life, I'll become a golfer.
Do you want a real Barbadian experience with peace and tranquility? A home away from home feeling? Come and stay at Best E Villas. We offer 2 amazing locations to choose from, Prospect St. James or Christchurch. Plan a staycation for your anniversary, birthdays, summer or winter breaks, or any special event. Best E Villas is located in close proximity to our lovely beaches. Call us now at 246-425-9751 or visit us at bestevillas.com and make your booking for the best in villas.
Again, the major developments of this day: the Oilfield Workers Trade Union in Trinidad and Tobago agrees to a 5% salary increase for workers and calls off a planned 90-day strike in the energy sector. And in sport, Englishman Johnny Grave is appointed the new CEO of the West Indies Cricket Board. That's Caribbean Newsline. For news and sport around the clock, log on to KanaNews.com. We'll be back here again tomorrow, but from all of us at CMC News, we thank you for watching and do have yourselves a good night.